Madeline Merlo is here. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Not bad. Now that we got the technology figured out 3 years later, we're good.
We got it.
I was just saying that last time you and I spoke, you were planning a wedding. Here we are now.
Mhm.
And the wedding's come and gone. How did it go?
No, it went awesome. It was so great. It was a whirlwind. I feel like I don't even remember it. It was awesome. The pictures looked fun, though. And yeah, in 6 months, it's been 6 months since yesterday. So far, so good. Would recommend marriage, 10 out of 10. It's been awesome.
It's funny you say that you almost it's almost like you don't remember it. And when I think back, my wedding was 21 years ago.
Hmm.
To the same person that I still have today. And but I feel kind of the same way. I have certain highlights of the day that I recall. And so I'm so glad. I hope you have a million pictures that you can go through and it'll trigger more memories.
Yeah, it was so it's a time unlike anything else when you have all of your friends and family from every like period of your life and as well as his all at the same time in the same room. It's just like it's so emotionally charged and it's awesome. I had so much fun. It's just the coolest thing. So wedding planning is not for the weak. It is tough work, but it is very cool to have everybody together for that time. Like it'll never happen again. So would recommend doing it.
There is exactly the answer. You're right. Through nobody's bad intention or anything else, the reality is that group, as it was that day, will never be together again.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty
You
crazy.
could try, but somebody's going to be able to not make it or whatever. So that's really what makes it so special. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And the release of new music as well.
Yeah, I know.
And
Excited.
when I saw the title of this, immediately a guy like myself is hooked. It's Tim and Faith.
Hmm. Yes,
Now,
love Tim and Faith.
do I pronounce this Tim plus Faith or is it Tim and Faith, the song title? Is that open to interpretation?
Well, yeah, I think you can say it however you want to say it. I say Tim and Faith. It does say Tim plus Faith though, so I could definitely see how people say that. I think we were just like this looked the coolest, so we're gonna go with this. But the hook of it is Tim and Faith for sure.
Okay. So
Mhm.
what are we saying in the song Tim and Faith?
So Tim and Faith is a song that I wrote kind of like leading up to the wedding, actually. And it was after I was a part of that cool Swindell song. I sang background vocals on his big song called Heads Carolina. And I was so inspired because I heard it before it came out. And I was like, this is so cool that, he sampled this kind of old song. And I want to do something like that. And like, how do I want to do this? And so I thought about it for a while. And my producer and I were like, okay, what if we did a love song? So we started thinking of iconic love songs. And I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of iconic country couples like, Garth and Trisha, but Tim and Faith, I am equally obsessed with both of them. I grew up utterly obsessed with Faith Hill growing up. Like she was my girl. And so we felt like they were a good match for this kind of idea. And then, yeah, Tim and Faith was born, and we sampled their song "It's Your Love" off the top of the chorus. And I rewrote this melody 3 times, trying to make sure that the notes that followed those iconic 2 lines were good enough to kind of serve it justice. So we really like this was a tweaker. Some songs you pour out of you in 30 minutes, and this song, like I said, we rewrote 3 times, making sure there's subtle hints of them throughout the lyric, but not too obvious. And yeah, I poured a lot into it, and it feels so classic. Like I love the production. It feels really kind of 90s and throwback and something I haven't really done before. So yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Did you have to run this up the flagpole? Have Tim and Faith had their ears on this yet?
Yeah, so I've been trying. I feel like that's been like my main goal. I have been told that they have heard it and they love it, but we're hoping that they can give us picture evidence of such things. But ultimately it would just be cool for them to hear it. And I'd love to know like what they think of it. I watched them in the show as well, 1863, that they were on, and they are so amazing in that as well too. So I feel like I'm down to give Tim and Faith all the Tim and Faith love for sure.
Well, and they've earned it. I was in Toronto the day after McGraw played at Boots and Hearts, and they had a few of us radio schluffs in a room, and Tim
Wow.
came in and they played us some new songs off Tim's record, Standing Room Only. But I bring all this up to say, all these years of marriage later, and Tim came into the room and
Mhm.
he introduced himself as Mr. Faith Hill.
Yes, yeah. I think that's so awesome. That's such a great story. And that is something there. He's always been very outspoken about, like, I would not be here if it weren't for her. So I feel like their story, there's just so much like gratitude and respect for each other that I think is really awesome. That's great
You
though.
know, and oh yeah, it really was, because you know, that's kind of a almost a newlywed trick to do, right? But
Yeah,
here they are, whatever it is, 26, something like that years later, and he's still calling himself Mr. Faith Hill. I love it.
it's amazing. I love that.
So It's Your Love is an iconic song. And when you're gonna take on, you're gonna sample the song, and again, did you feel any additional pressure that, like, I got to do this right. I got to get this right because, I'm not just digging maybe a B-side off someone's record to use. This is It's Your Love by Tim and Faith.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I think, why we just continued to tweak it, and we write it, and I'd listen back and I'd be like, it's not good enough. And there's a sole songwriter of that song. Her name's Stephanie Smith. And randomly she wrote Honey Jack with me, a song that I had in like 2015. So it's very random, but we had to get clearance for her. So she's a songwriter as well, because we took those melodies, and I was like nervous for her to hear it too, like to reimagine it for her and Tim. So there was levels of pressure for it, but I think that it's kind of cool. It's like a song about hearing a song, which is like a Inception mind thing. And I love in the second verse, it talks about like, kids like us, and I bet they're like in the car right now singing it. And so it has these like different levels, and the way that the story unfolds, I feel like it doesn't step on the toes of the song. It's about listening to the song and what the song means to this particular couple.
Well, congrats on its release. And you had mentioned there a few minutes ago that you had added your vocals to Cole Swindell's She Had Me at Heads, Carolina. And when I found that out, and one thing I love, and I understand how lucky I am to do what I do because I'm still a fan. And so going back when the song was new and I found out that you were the one who had taken on the part of the backing vocals there, and which, by the way, there's pressure in that too because it was also such an iconic hook. I had to get my daughter, here, listen to this, you know who that is doing that? I said, that's Madeline Merlo.
That's so awesome. Yes, for sure. It's also quite high too, and my producer was like, can you sing this? It's like 4 keys higher than the original. So I was like, geez, this is no easy feat to do either. But it turned out so good. It was so cool to like hear it on the radio, and it's all reverb. But if you turn it up really loud, you can tell it's me. So it's pretty cool.
I will turn it up even louder than I already do. Now, how did that particular, you mentioned your producer, is that the guy who was working on the song for Cole Swindell, and you just happened to use the same guy?
Yep. So I started working with his name is Zach Crowell, and he is literally, I made a list of dream producers when I moved to Nashville, and he was at the top of the list. He did Sam Hunt's Montevello record, which really changed the like brought in these instruments into country and was just really cutting edge of him. So he works on Sam Hunt stuff. He does Dustin Lynch, Cole Swindell. He does a bunch of people, and he does Jelly Roll as well too. So you can kind of hear me sprinkled on, a bit of these artist songs, because that's something that Zach loves to do, and he's done it for years. Dustin Lynch's Riding Roads, if you listen, there's a girl singing in the background. He likes to bring that kind of female voice in. And I've been really lucky to be, a confidant of his. And he's like, oh, you jump on this Dustin song or jump on this Jelly song. And there's a couple other ones coming out as well, too, that I've got to sing on. And it's just such an honor to be part of these artists that like I've looked up to like my whole life. So it's really cool.
Well, that's it. And I was just going to mention the fact that your vocals will appear on a couple of songs too, from some additional heavy hitters that you're amongst with Jelly Roll, Dustin Lynch. Have you had a chance to spend any time with any of these particular, like Jelly or Dustin?
Yeah, so I've met both of them, spent more time with Dustin. Dustin's a great friend, and I think these opportunities really cultivate that friendship. Ultimately we send the song to them, and they can say like, I love it, or they can say like, I don't love that. I don't want her on there, or like find somebody else or whatever. So all of them have been so gracious and been like, oh, who is that? Like, she's so great. Like, I want to meet her. And Dustin has, brought me along to in some couple opportunities, and we'll be releasing that soon. So it's really interesting to see how just singing on these songs has like cultivated friendships. And like, I can say like Jelly Roll's a friend of mine. Like, that's so cool. And he's such an amazing guy. And like I said, just to be affiliated in any of their camps is a real honor.
It's good they feel the same way. And you keep kicking those doors down. Now we've got Tim and Faith on our hands. What else is coming up in the next 3, 6, 12 months for Madeline Merlo?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of new music as well too that we're kind of planning when we're going to put it out, but it's recorded and ready to go. And some of my I have a song coming out that is without a doubt the most vulnerable thing I have ever done, and that's really scary, but I'm really excited too. I think it's just something that I've wanted to say for a long time, so I'm really having fun just writing songs and continuing to learn and grow and sing on other people's songs, and just am really enjoying the process of it right now. So, and excited about 2024. I think it's going to be a lot of shows, more touring, and like I said, new music. And we're working down here. We're kicking the can every day a little bit farther down the road, and hoping for the best.
Well, I wish you kicked the can better than Tyler Bass was able to kick a football for the Buffalo Bills yesterday.
Yes. I hope so.
Man, I gotta quit caring about things that don't actually affect my life.
Yeah, can't control that. It's true.
Well, listen, thanks for your time. Congratulations on everything. It has been a riot. You mentioned the single Honey Jack, and you said 2015, and I went, how is it possible that was 2015?
I know. I really feel it was so good seeing everybody at the CCMAs this year, because it's like we've just known each other for so long, and you guys have watched me like stumble my way through this career and figure out who I am like truly as an artist. And so it's just exciting to when we get to see everyone. But yeah, I know it's such a random, like that song is so old, but then people supported it and loved it. It was my first like kind of like party song I ever did. It's just so cute. So a small world all comes back.
Well, you're going to say stumbled your way through. You have not stumbled as much as you might like to let on. I think you've done a lot of things right. And the scary thing is the best is yet to come. How about that?
I think so too. Mm-hmm.
Right on. Where do people find you on socials? I know you can't get enough and you want 5 more platforms to service.
Absolutely. Totally. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything's just Madeline Merlo. So super easy.
Made, line, and Merlot, like the wine. I will never forget it. And I wish you could, as soon as you can, sit on the stool over there and play us another song. But you know what? If you can't do that right now, this is the next best thing. Madeline Merlo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's so good to talk to you.